And we are live. I should turn my mic down. That's good enough. All right, I'm gonna send you the chess link.
Nice. You know, the fans love chess.
Me too, man. Me too. Oh wait, I just canceled the game. No. Oh, I need music too. How could I forget the lo-fi hip hop?
Come on, that's a big part of our brand right there. Hey, 47 bees and a crab shell's back.
Hey, what's up, dude? All right, I sent you the link. Now opening up the music.
Back to the past samurai check.
Oh, this whole time I had desktop audio muted, so they weren't hearing you.
Oh, never mind then.
Hey,
Everything I
47
said
bees
doesn't
and a
matter.
crab shell. How's it going? How's it going?
Welcome to the stream. Hey, Sadiq's here.
How's it going, Sadiq? Are you laggy? Is it just...
Can you lag in chess?
No, I mean your webcam. I'm only running 25 FPS on my chess game.
Oh no.
Griswo, what's up, dude?
Hey. You're gonna be difficult, aren't you?
Let me know if the stream. Let me know if the music is too quiet. I can turn it up. How's it going, Madison?
Hey, Madison's here.
We've kind of developed a ritual for saying hi to people. It's just one of us says a name and the other one goes like a sort of over enthusiastic. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, that's how it goes. Oh, Anbu's in the chat.
Hey, what's up, Anbu?
Hello, Brooke.
Hey, what's up, Brooke? Just wanted to read, but then you stream. We got a chill stream. You could read while doing this. We're not that distracting.
You gotta pick a side.
All eyes on us.
Us or books?
Thorough Pendragon, what's up, dude? I feel like I haven't seen your name in a while.
Yeah.
Cherry Boy's
And we
taking
got
notes.
Cherry.
Taking notes on what? Oh, for shoot, what's the Is it?
The
It's not
Shonen Ronin.
No, I'm thinking it's not Megalobox because that's the boxing anime. What's what are the Medica Box? Yeah, this is the show they're covering. I think, right? Am I dumb? No, this is it. You guys still doing this one? I think I saw that you were wrapping this one up, but I didn't know if you finished it or not. I feel like I
Welcome
look
to your
short.
new home, Thoreau.
I look short in my webcam. Look at the stream. Do I look like specifically short?
I don't think so.
I try very hard to angle my webcam in a way that makes me look taller. I need that validation.
I gave up on being tall a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Okay, let's see here.
Cherry's got shooters.
My squad's always loaded and ready to go.
That sounds like the start of a verse. You should write that down.
Yeah, I'll put it in my notes.
Rap notes.
I do have this whole thing right here. I have a lot of bookmarks, I noticed, and I try to clean them up every once in a while, but they all feel important. Like
right? Actually made like another bookmark list just for my comic books.
I could probably get rid of the D&D stuff. No, but what if I need it?
Yeah, what if you need it? Hey, Brian's here too. Everybody's on the stream. The gang's all here.
Oh, Brian, do you know Cherry Boy? You guys friends? That's nice. How do you guys know each other?
I also have too many too many tabs open.
Well,
most
that's
of
the
time.
thing. Yeah, that's the thing about Zero that you have to understand is that his bookmarks are just his tabs. Am I wrong there?
No. Yeah, you are wrong.
Okay. But no, okay. I am wrong. What you do is, because he always has like 3 windows open, each with like 20 tabs, and he's very specific. If you use his laptop, he's very specific about like not opening or closing certain things because he really utilizes the Control Shift T function to like always make sure he never loses a single tab.
Yeah, I'm always picking up where I left off every time I open up this computer. Except for, when I don't. Like right now, for this stream, I just opened incognito browser, so I didn't have to mess with any of my previous tabs. Oh, it's my turn, huh? You starting a little pawn storm on my king side?
Also, Hoodie, do you actively play D&D? Define actively. I mean, I
passively play it.
I mean, if it were up to me, I'd play every second of every day, but it's not. So I play once a month.
You didn't play last month.
Well, this month technically, because everyone decided to flake out on us.
Degenerates.
Hoodie, what about that James Gunn? Oh, okay, Brian Lowe, you are Legend 00 then. I hope I didn't just dox you or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't make the connection, but I was talking to him last night about, he showed me a channel, an analysis channel, and he wanted me to check it out, and I saw that they had a video on Scooby-Doo, the movie, and I had said that I was thinking about making a video on James Gunn, because James Gunn wrote that movie. So I assume that this is the same person. Holy shit, your Iron Man review is over 1 hour.
For sure if he starts talking about a Code Geass fan fiction.
The Iron Man, okay, asterisk on the review. If any of you guys haven't seen it, one, I would 100% recommend checking it out because I think it came out pretty good, and we're gonna be continuing doing that. But it is not like our anime reviews. Like if you watch, it's not like our analysis videos, first of all, at all. It's not scripted or anything, and it's also not like our anime reviews in the sense that it is a podcast, and those are strictly like a 30-minute review. These are like just kind of going over the entire movie and just shooting shit with me, Zero, and our friend Kaiser. So just an asterisk for anyone who hasn't seen it. It is you know, take everything that's said in that podcast with a grain of salt. It doesn't really lend that much weight towards, you know, a lot of like 3/4 of that podcast is us just making jokes about the movie, which might sound like we're shitting on it, but we might not be shitting on it. So just get that out there.
Yeah. Then again, that sounds exactly like our reviews.
Yeah, that's true. The biggest difference is that in the reviews, we don't really... So in the podcast, we do like a plot synopsis of the movie, which is what takes up most of the runtime of that podcast. And the thing is, like, as we're describing what happens in the movie, we'll say, like, this scene happens, pause. Wasn't that scene kind of fucked up or something? As to where that is less likely to happen in the anime reviews. It did happen with Fate Zero a little bit, but less likely. Okay, hold on. We're a little backed up on chat. Sadiq has his internet fixed. That's good. That's good. Currently in 2 different D&D campaigns. I would be as well, except I don't know if you guys watched our First Impressions podcast at all, but the guy who Francisco, who was on that for a little while, he is supposed to be DMing one of our campaigns for the summer, but you know, he's a busy boy, and he's been kind of flaking on us. So that campaign hasn't even started. And then Kaiser is DMing another campaign that happens once a month, and that's a little hard to schedule around. But yeah, that is 2 campaigns that ideally I would be in that are kind of fucking up right now.
Such is life. I would also be in both of those campaigns.
Zero sent me a link to it. I assume it is a Code Geass fanfiction.
Yeah.
Saying it's good, and for the most part, the author understands Lelouch. Well, what do you think, Brian? Was it good?
He has criticized it, but you know,
I'm
right.
You know, I'm not Actually, never mind. I'm gonna keep that to myself. I was gonna say something about fan fiction, but it might turn into a video later. So I have a couple videos on the docket that I'm very much looking forward to. That it's kind of hard to prioritize what should come next. Like this how to write fight scenes video, which, by the way, if you haven't seen that video, go watch it. But that video technically wasn't planned to come out. Like, my next video was gonna be something else, but we just felt like this one should come first. So like now I have that video that I wanted to make. Now that's sitting on the back burner, and I want to make that. But then I also watched a movie the other day, and I was like, whoa, I gotta make a video of this. And then there's also some other stuff, and I don't know, man. I want to make all the videos in the world, but
yeah,
it's hard to pick which one. Griswold
47 bees in a crab shell is drinking wine and watching our stream. That's high class.
Wow. That's classy. I have a gallon of water. It's pretty classy. Grizzo said, Zero, you read Dauntless. Is that an ongoing thing, or is it done, or what's the deal with that?
As far as I can tell, it's been done, because it looks like it was completed. Or I know for a fact it was started in like 2010. I think it was completed shortly thereafter. It has like 98 chapters, and I'm on like 66.
Yeah. Brian says it's okay. Like Lelouch leading with the king, I believe, is a part of his character, and the fanfic had his brother teach it to him, and that pissed him off. How do you feel about that, Zero?
I mean, the idea of Lelouch learning that philosophy from someone, I already don't necessarily love, because I always thought of it as his idea, but specifically Schneisel being the person to teach it to him makes it seem even weirder, because that's not how Schneisel operates at all. But, whatever.
Finally, Hoodie is starting to advertise your content to your own fans. And I feel disgusting. Am I getting tricked right here? Did I just get that for free? Wow. When did we get on the topic of fan fictions? I don't know.
You want to take that one back, or
What did I do? Oh shit! No, I'll no, because I analyzed it so heavily and still missed it. I'll let that slide.
All right, that's fair.
It's like I really put thought into that one. I was like, "There's no way I'm getting this for free." I was a fool. Have you guys heard about how R3 is going to be a continuation of the recap movies and not the series? Yes, I have heard about that, and I relayed that information to Zero, but I don't think we discussed it necessarily.
Yeah, we've talked about it, I think, a little bit in the Discord, and I've mentioned it in some comments here and there, but I don't think we've addressed it in like a stream or anything.
I don't want to go too hard on spoilers just because they are recap movies, meaning that probably a lot of you guys haven't seen them, but there is some notable differences that I've heard about. Without getting into spoilers about what those differences are, do you think that's like a good thing, or would you kind of just rather they went back off of the like main continuity?
Well, my personal opinion is that it's a fucking cop-out. I just, like, if you're going to make it an alternate universe anyway, what's even the point of, like, reviving the series and making a sequel all these years later? It's just, I don't know, man.
All right. Well, Brian said it in the chat anyways, but it's fine.
Whoops.
What's this? Am I getting tricked again here? Well, your knight would take it, or your bishop, but okay, never mind then. I won't do it.
And people watching the stream don't know that I've been training for all of these matches.
Silly Willy is here. What's up, dude?
Hey, Sil Will.
You're lagging a little bit on your webcam, but anytime I check, you're fine. And I'm not lagging, so it's just you. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks fine on the Discord, but not always on the stream for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on there.
ZBoy2000. That is a new name. I haven't recognized that. What's up, dude? Welcome to the stream.
Z-Boy.
Alright, guys. I don't know if you guys knew this, but we used to run a little podcast called Pillow Talk, where oh shit, what was that podcast? Oh yeah, me and Zero laid down and just had a conversation using this website that had 250 conversation starters. And we eventually canceled that podcast. But, you know, it's been a couple months since we did that. I figured, you know, just to throw some topics around in this stream in between the game and chat, figured I'd just pull up the site again and maybe we could revisit it for old time's sake. How do you feel about that, Zero?
Hey, that sounds like a nice idea.
But this time, same website, but I went to a different section. This one, the one we did was 250 conversation starters. This one is deep conversation topics. And it's not wrong. It's not wrong. I don't want to do this one, but for example, the first question to ask is what are the highest and lowest points of your life? We could skip that one for now. But other ones, this one's also pretty intense. Who are you really? Who is behind the mask that you show to the rest of the world?
Wow.
It's pretty intense.
Deep conversation right there.
Yo, guys, can you give a link to the Discord? We need new meat. Zero, if you can grab a link, you could paste it in the chat. I can't grab it because your camera. I would have to move your camera.
I got it. Here you go, fellas. My gift to you. Our
Use that very
Discord server.
website to improve my social skills. All right, let me pull up a conversation topic. See, I don't want to do anything like incriminating. All right, this is somewhat deep, but not too deep. What is holding you back from being the person you want to be? Now, this is an interesting question because it also is asking, who do you want to be? And I'll let you go first.
Who do I want to be? That's a good question.
Hold on one second. Brian, I can't... Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. What video did you send me? I don't have a... Hold on, I'll check it on my phone, because I can't pull it up on my desktop. I don't know what you're referring to, Brian. All right, go ahead, Zero.
Okay, so who do I want to be? That's a tough one. Think like a combination of Frederick Douglass, Sherlock Holmes,
That's interesting. That was a really
Albert Einstein, of course.
it's a really curveball on that first one. I mean, I saw Sherlock Holmes coming, and I guess Albert Einstein, maybe not so specifically, but what about Frederick Douglass? What about him specifically? The newspaper stuff?
Well, you know, he was sort of a self-made man, like the epitome of started from the bottom. Now we're here, you know, and he never compromised his message. There's a lot to respect about the guy.
Sure. Is that any more examples, or like of other people you'd want to become, or maybe not even people, just sort of you know, ideals or whatever, or maybe not even ideals, maybe just like literal things you want to do. Oh, was the Scooby-Doo movie misunderstood? Yeah, I watched this last night, actually. I did. I watched this video and his video on Drag Me to Hell. We can discuss that in a second. Keep going, Zero.
Stuff I want to do. Well,
yeah,
I don't know how many of you guys know this. What are you saying?
I was just gonna say, they're talking about Sadiq wants to be a millionaire, and Cherry Boy said that's not really that much money, and yeah, it is not uncommon for a person to have made $1 million in their lifetime. Although Sadiq's in like Africa, so maybe that's more there. All right, keep going, Zero. Go ahead.
I feel that. I'd also like to be filthy rich, but I don't know how many of you guys know this. I am currently studying criminal justice in college, and one of my goals is to become a detective in, you know, the local PD.
By day, he analyzes anime. By night, he fights crime.
Yeah, that's the goal. I want to be I'm gonna vlog when I take down the perps.
What's up, YouTube? We back again out on the streets. So what's stopping you is the major question. Well, with the criminal stuff, you're clearly in school, so not necessarily anything, but, you know, for the other stuff.
That's a good question. You know, there's just only so many hours in a day.
That's true, that's true.
Like, I can't be the world's greatest scientist and the world's greatest detective and the world's greatest writer. It's just, there are too many things.
All right, so, you know, a part of this deep conversation is going to be interrogation. So the question would be, yeah, you can't do all of those things. Are you doing any of those things? Peace out, Griswo.
I guess, something I've been thinking about recently is that I tend not to... Oh, Griswold left?
Yeah, he's going to sleep.
Alright, good night, buddy. But I feel like I tend not to fully devote myself to things. Which obviously is a habit I'm trying to work out of.
So in what way?
I feel like... in response to which clause?
Like, in what way do you not devote yourself to things? Like, just give me an example, basically. Like, because you could be not devoting yourself to something in the sense of you kind of have eggs in multiple baskets, or you could just be holding all of the eggs in your hands and not putting them anywhere. So, yeah, I guess what's going on with that?
Well, the most recent example would be chess, I guess. Like, I got into this game. I was like, hey, this would be pretty fun to start playing, you know, semi-seriously. And that was more than a few months ago at this point. But I haven't really started actually pursuing that much of a chess education. Like, I've been doing lessons on chess.com and playing tactics puzzles, but I haven't been reading chess books or like playing classical time format games. It's just...
I fucked up there. I didn't want to go aggressive because it would have been a loss for me, but I ended up going defensive and it's still a loss. I didn't see that.
Indeed.
Cherry Boy says same with him and Shogi. Shogi's a difficult game. Sadiq says, interesting thing. He says he devotes himself to being the most Sadiq person out there. Now, I'm sure Sadiq, you're just joking around, and I'm not trying to interrogate you or anything. But I would, you know, I do, you know, how should I phrase this? What Zero is saying is a fault. You know, like, he is acknowledging that he's not doing good in that aspect. Now, it would be easy for him to just say that he's doing him, you know, and that's fine. Do you. But that'd be an excuse. And, you know, I'm sure you are joking, Sadiq, and, you know, I don't know much about you personally or, you know, other than the stuff you've told us. But I guess what I'm getting at is, don't make excuses for the way you are, and identify your faults and work on them. And setting into the comfortableness of being yourself, I think is a common trap, a common misconception that people have. Should yourself, who you are right now is always worse. Who you are right now is always worse than who you could be. This is what I'm saying, I guess.
That's true. And chess is just being good at lying. That's why I'm so good at it.
Well, you could say most games are like that too. I've always kind of wanted to get into poker a little bit. I was taught to play poker when I was really young because my dad used to be a bartender, and he used to hang around with those types of crowds, which meant he played a lot of darts, a lot of poker, a lot of various games like that. And he taught me how to play poker when I was, I don't know, maybe anywhere from 7 to 10. I learned. I've forgotten since then. I don't know how to play, but it was always really fascinating to me. And then I started learning a little bit of blackjack, and then I also stopped doing that either. I've always thought gambling was pretty cool. Like, even removing the money aspect of it. Like, winning money is cool, sure, but just the games itself I find fascinating. Cherry Boy says Sadiq is just a coward. Sadiq's not a coward. How dare you? It's my best friend.
Yeah, he's a brave man.
So I guess the answer is no.
Yeah, kind of streaming.
How many followers? How many viewers you got right now?
Mute your mic. Don't. I don't need Brian on the stream.
We have 9 viewers right now.
Hey.
I don't know what this term means. Kakegurui.
That's the fucking gambling anime. The one that's not as good.
Yeah, you having doubts about that statement?
Well, I mean, I like Kakegurui, but my hesitation is because...
This is the one where it's like a school. It's like Food Wars, but gambling?
Yeah.
Okay, and what do you?
By the way, I love that premise of just being Food Wars, but with a specific thing. That's a great type of show.
It's like school, but not education, and instead fighting. And fighting instead of fighting, it's just other things.
Yeah.
That's a tradition as old as Sky High. I really love Sky High.
You know what, Cherry? I don't even disagree with you, if I'm being honest. I get a lot of flack from certain people for agreeing with that statement. But I honestly think Kaiji is a little too...
You were just about to say the opposite.
No, I wasn't talking about Kaiji.
Oh, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say Liar Game, but then I was like, is that even really like gambling though? Because it is, but that's not really the focus. It kind of is. Yeah, I guess you could call it gambling. I was gonna say One Outs instead of Liar Game, because that really is gambling. But it's also not, because he's a professional baseball player. What actual gambling anime have I watched? Cherry, you gotta read Liar Game. I know for a fact you're gonna love it. That is, unless you're a coward.
like Sadiq.
Yeah, like a certain Chad we know.
I had to settle my loss there, but I don't. Oh no,
Yeah.
I didn't even mean to do that. I literally just accidentally clicked the board.
I mean, not a bad move.
I mean, I might make the move, but I just literally didn't think about it at all.
Oh, I love list game. Liar Game is off hiatus, by the way. It's actually completed by now. So, you know, if you're using that as an excuse.
Cut the crap.
Yeah.
I didn't answer the question. Or do you feel like you've adequately answered the question? Do you have any more you want to talk about?
I lost my train of thought, so let's move on to you.
Well, the last thing we were talking about was chess and how you picked up chess, but you didn't really start like studying or anything.
Yeah, I would say that's what I do with most of my interests of those types. You know, like I sort of keep an eye on the pulse of scientific knowledge. I sort of do the same with criminology, but I am also in school for that, so I can give myself a little credit there.
Well, you know, this is gonna sound perhaps controversial, but there is a thing as too many hobbies. You know, there is a thing as like you are trying to do too much right now, and it's like a distraction from perhaps what's important. And I define what's important loosely, but for example, you know, if you want to learn chess, great. But if you want to learn chess and you want to learn shogi, then okay, well, we're starting to add a couple things. But sure. And then you also want to read a manga a day or whatever. And, you know, now we're starting to be like, well, do you have time to do anything else? And you have to like identify, like, is learning chess advancing you towards anything at the current moment? And it's important in some regards to just have things you like to do for fun, but if all you're doing is things for fun, then you'll live a happy but short life, is what I'd say about that.
It's exactly how I want it.
It's controversial in the sense that, you know, a lot of people will tell you to pursue hobbies, and I'm basically saying not to. It's perhaps not as controversial as I made it out to be, though.
Well, I think we can all agree everyone needs, you know, some hobbies. But I would agree there is an upper limit. And I think that, you know, you have to be aware of your time management.
Cherry Boy says, I want to write a book, learn shogi, read several books and manga, and play video games. See, that's like... See, my question for you would be, where does, like... And, you know, this is an interesting question for you, but, like, where does living go in? Like, where does sustaining yourself as a living being fit into that schedule? Like, work. Do you go to school? Do you work? How is that going to accommodate all of those things? Silly Willie says, I'd like to expand my hobbies to other things than video games and anime. You know, take this with a grain of salt because I'm obviously biased in this regard, but I really, really do think film is a super great hobby. And, like, not just watching movies, although that is fun too, but, like, just learning about film, because it's a rather short activity. You know, watching a movie is 2 hours of your life, and then sort of thinking about that maybe is another hour, and like that's only 3 hours to do that activity. And I don't know, it's a lot shorter than watching anime, and especially playing video games, depending on the video game. Sadiq said, random question, what's the weirdest dream you've had? I don't know.
Honestly, I tend not to think my dreams are weird, even when weird shit happens. Unless it's, like, involving someone I don't talk to anymore. Because that's weird. Actually, no, I do have an answer to this. It was kind of like, a classic. It was a naked at school scenario. But it was how we got there that was weird, because Hoodie, you probably remember doing this. Remember when we were doing like graduation setup in the gym?
Oh, sure. Okay, I was like, I don't remember being naked at school at all. But sure, yeah, I remember. Basically, at the end of every year, we were part of like five students that got to skip classes basically for a week while we set up the auditorium or the gymnasium for graduation.
Yeah, and in my dream, I was doing that, but like everyone else was gone. So for some reason, I was just like, well, this is Nikki time. Stripped down in the middle of the school. And even when like graduation practice started and like all the seniors poured in, I like didn't put my clothes back on, so I was just walking around naked during graduation practice, and no one said anything.
What would you say?
Hey, that guy should be wearing clothes.
Yeah, I don't really remember my dreams all that much. Quick side note, one of our friends is trying to start shit on Facebook right now, and I really want to just pause the stream to respond to her, but I'll wait. Silly Willie says, you can't always do all the things all the time. It's sad that you have to work so much. I agree. It is sad. Thorough Pendragon says, I want to be a visual novel creator, but mediocre artist and writer. So yeah, it's not easy. Plus, full-time job playing video games when I'm too tired to do anything else. I feel for that, but, to just give you sort of the real rough advice, you just got to cut video games out. Like, if you really want to be, because you can't cut your job out. I mean, you need money to live, and so the question is are video games advancing you to your goal of being a visual novel creator? I assume that's what VN means, but I could be wrong. And if they aren't, then, you just got to cut that out. And if you can't, then, I mean, it sucks, but you're never going to get better. Brian Lowe says it's snaky time.
That was what I said in the dream.
You guys want me to live stream the Facebook response? Me drafting up the clap back. I'll respond right now. I'm not going to show it on stream, obviously, because that's not smart. But I'm gonna respond right now because I gotta fucking do it. All right. So basically, I'm not gonna get into spoilers or anything, but I noticed on Twitter that a lot of people were posting a certain picture from My Hero Academia, one of the characters, and we're talking about like, oh my god, that last chapter, being very vague about what happened, but whatever. I could see who they're talking about because they're posting the picture, talking about their name or whatever. And then Zero and this friend were in our Facebook group chat talking about, oh my god, that last chapter. Did you see that? Do you think that person's dead? And like, they weren't saying the name, but I already knew who the character was because of the Twitter post. So like, I had two pieces of the puzzle and I connected them, and now I know what happens. And that's fine for me. And to be honest, that's fine for me because I don't care about spoilers all that much, and I don't even really keep up with My Hero Academia. I only like loosely, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. And even if I did love the show, it wouldn't really matter to me all that much. The problem is like that you did spoil it. So like, if you can't hide behind the like I didn't spoil anything principle, because your actions did lead to getting spoiled. It just so happened that the person you spoiled didn't care, but you still did it. You get what I'm saying?
I would say we're not responsible for the other half of the puzzle that you already had.
Yeah, but okay, let me pull up the messages you sent, because it was very much so. The conversation was someone else in the group chat was asking you guys not to talk about this because they didn't want to get spoiled, and you were very adamantly like, well, this isn't going to spoil you, so stop being, whatever. But like, it could spoil them, because you don't know what they know already. That you don't know what pieces of the puzzle they had. So you were acting in a reckless manner.
I see where you're getting at, but I had reason to believe the other person in chat, you know, actually wouldn't know what I was talking about.
Perhaps, but you know, you don't know.
I do know.
Well, there are. I mean, it is possible for her to, like. You don't know what their other friends. You don't know if they might watch the My Hero Academia. So you know, maybe they were also doing some stuff like that. You know, because their other friends do dabble in the anime. So you know, maybe it came out, maybe it didn't. Now we can make safe assumptions. If we were to guess, I would have made the same guess as you. But you know, reckless behavior is reckless behavior.
I would classify it as calculated risk.
But you also had to factor in that they're not the only one in the group chat. It was me, them, and then there's also Francisco's there, and Francisco watches the show, you know, and he has definitely more opportunity to have been exposed to that.
That's true, but I know that you don't really care, so even factoring the risk that someone may have spoiled it for you, or rather, someone may have given you enough context to figure out what happened. I know you don't really care. And Francisco, I don't really picture him having another source of MHA information besides, you know, Mac.
He's just a part of various, you know, Facebook groups for various different things, like, you know, memes and video games and all that crap. So, you know, literally anything could get to him. Not to mention he has his whole, like, while, you know, he has his whole separate group of friends that, you know, we don't know at all in any sort of regard.
Yeah, but my point is, like, I can't account for all of the information that is being fed to you guys that I'm unaware of.
Well, the accounting for it would be...
account for the information that I share.
Well, accounting for that information would be as simple as, like, I don't know what they might know, so let me just take it into a private message.
Yeah.
Because okay, so the person who's complaining, the person who's trying to throw shade at me was saying, like, how is this any different than when I talked about Infinity War in the group chat with them, even though she had not seen it? And my response was that everyone else had seen it. So even if I was, like, possibly spoiling her, it wasn't, you know, like, the cost of, you know, to avoid that circumstance, I would have to make an entirely new group chat with everyone in the group except her and then have the conversation as to where, and that, you know, you could even look at that and say, like, well, you should have just done that so you didn't spoil them. But I didn't. But in this situation, you didn't even have to do that. All you had to do was just say, let me pull up the private messages for this one person and talk to them about it. And because, like, the energy expended to do that action is so minor, you know, there's really...
Hey, I would have had to go through my inbox, find Michaela's name.
You just
open the chat.
I wasn't saying her name, and you just gave it away. So
it's fine.
All right.
I have a friend named Michaela. What are they gonna do with that?
I don't know, man. They've seen my Facebook. My Facebook is documented on live stream. It has been seen. They can fucking, I don't know. I've seen some crazy shit, man.
They're gonna dox her.
You know, I've talked about Ice. I've name dropped Ice Poseidon with you in the past, and you don't know who he is. But he's this live streamer who basically, you know, he gets doxxed a lot. And he was on a plane once, and he got doxxed. Yeah, they called in a bomb threat for him. He got arrested. You know, I'll just say it, like, it's crazy, man. Digi got his address figured out by, like, mentioning that he lived near a store and then filming the front door of his house. So I'm just saying, like, our stream's a bunch of nice people, I'm sure, but, you know, you can never be too sure. Okay, we're pretty late.
Look, man.
We're pretty backed up on the chat, so let me just go through here. People who don't like MHA, My Hero Academia deserve no respect. I wouldn't say I don't like it. Well, no, I would say I would say I like it, but not very much. Naruto's communist propaganda, according to according to Mother's Basement. That was a solid video. Solid video. I remember seeing him post the thumbnail on Twitter and just thinking, what?
That's some real game theory shit right there.
I don't know. I'm not gonna call
Naruto's a communist.
I'm not gonna call Mother's Basement the worst person in any two, because I think like you got to factor in the no name 1 subscriber people who like are just starting, and you know, to be fair to those guys, they're just starting, so like, you know, you could excuse it for an extent. To an extent, but they are bad. I mean, that's just the truth of the matter, is that when you first start, you are bad. So to call them better than Mother's Basement, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, that's why it's difficult to even name a worst person, because I could always imagine someone worse.
When did this live stream turn to throwing shade in both the chat and the actual live stream?
This is what the people want, all right? We're just giving them what you ask for. Matter of fact, fuck you, Hoodie.
I'm the worst person in any tube. Did you guys ever hear how 4chan found Shia LaBeouf's flag?
Yes, I've heard that whole story.
There's
an internet historian video on it, and it's like the situation was Shia LaBeouf. I don't remember what he was protesting, but he had a flag like on a flagpole, I believe. I don't know if that was the first thing, but he had a flag on a flagpole, and they like triangulated his position, looking at like the cloud formations in the sky and like what planes pass at what times, and eventually they found the flag, and I think they took it down.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I have personally done this, like not to a crazy extent, but I have been like, wait, this person just sort of name dropped that they go to this location and that's near their house. And I just like do a quick Google search and like, I totally know where they live now. And
yeah,
you know, I don't, because I'm not a crazy person, I don't do anything with that information.
But I definitely find out.
Yeah. I consider myself a keeper of knowledge. I need to know these things. And I use my moral compass to determine what's right and wrong, and I'm right.
And of course I'll sell that information to the highest bidder.
As long as I don't do anything with it. You know, they can do whatever they want.
It's a free country, after all.
It would be morally wrong for me to hold on to that information. It is the morally right thing to do to sell it.
In this capitalist society, is it not my duty?
Could he stop being so nice to Jeff? I'm not. Listen, I called him. Well, I didn't call him out, but I did sort of call him out in my last video. So I don't consider myself nice to him.
One of these days, he's gonna find our channel and he's gonna be like, "Wow, these guys shit talk me all the time."
we don't actually. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he's good, but like the most I give him is just like, because here's the thing about Jeff is like, you need to understand that like he knows what he's doing. You know, he knows
I was just thinking the same thing.
He knows he's making subpar content for money, and when you know that, like me calling it subpar, what's that gonna mean to him? You know.
He's gonna be like, "Is my sub count subpar though?"
Did you see? He uploaded a video the other day where he was asking people for like anime recommendations, basically for a new show he's starting, and he said he wants 1 million subscribers by the end of the year. Keep in mind, we are halfway through the year and he is at 300,000. Like, what the heck?
It's good to have faith in yourself.
That's ambitious, because I feel like some of the anti-tubers are like they're the most cocky people in the world. They all I don't know. Like, I think Digibro thinks like I could totally be a super huge success. I just don't want to be. And like to a certain extent, I'm sure that's true. Like, I'm sure if he really tried, he could double his subscriber count maybe. But like, dude, you think you can get 700,000 subscribers in 6 months? Okay. Yeah, sure.
Teach me your ways, O wise one.
Should I read about Edward Snowden or eat food?
Why
Go
is that
eat.
Why are those mutually exclusive options?
Yeah, eat food while you read.
Expand that knowledge. Internet Historian does have a really good voiceover.
I've never heard of
I
this
wanted
guy.
to be a voice actor at one point in my life.
I don't not want to be a voice actor. I'm still like, I might do it.
Yeah, same. I mean, if that avenue opens up, I'll definitely go for it, but it's not what I'm
Hold on.
pursuing.
I'm being told that someone... I didn't end up responding to Facebook. I'm being told that someone went in for the kill. Oh.
Hmm?
I'm being told that in the group chat, I'm seeing notifications.
Oh. Oh. Dang, she got screenshots.
Oh my god, they got the screenshots.
Hit him with the factoids.
Second of all...
This really is how it be. You guys know. I also don't really eat that much. I've been eating more recently though, which is nice.
What'd you say? You've been eating more recently?
Yeah.
I've been doing this thing called intermittent fasting. I heard about it through like Best Guy Ever, I think. Which basically just means that I only eat one meal a day now. No, I eat one meal a day, and then like go 24 hours before I eat my next meal. So I eat basically at 5 o'clock every night. Well, within a couple hours. And it's been good. You know, I've surprisingly not been hungry that much.
That's interesting. I should probably lose weight.
Nope, you shouldn't. You're really skinny. You're really skinny.
True that, true that.
Another good YouTuber is Nerd City. Never heard of them.
Nerd
Oh,
City
let's
bitch,
talk
Nerd
about.
City bitch.
I could talk. It's not probably not gonna lead too much because Zero hasn't seen it, but I could talk about that video, the channel you sent me, Brian, last night. So I watched 2 videos. I watched the Scooby-Doo video and then the Drag Me to Hell video. I thought Scooby-Doo was interesting. They were both interesting, but how should I put this? He kind of reminds me of a channel called NerdSync, which Zero follows, which they make quality content. You know, the writing's fairly good. They're fairly well researched, but I always feel like they're not super revolutionary, like, or not revolutionary, like well, it's a similar word, but just not as extreme.
Innovative?
Yeah, I'm just not seeing like, I don't know. It doesn't, and nothing about it blows me away. You know. I don't know if that's a proper word or like a turn of phrase. Yeah, I don't know. It just felt kind of generic when I was watching. It was fine, but I did subscribe, but I don't know. I'll probably only watch a video if it's like really specific to something I care about. Got any past examples of work for voice acting? Oh no, definitely not. By us saying we wanted to be voice actors. Sorry, what was that?
I said, what is that League of Legends video we made?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't remember what it was called. I saw one of my audio files for it. Let me see if I can find it again.
League of Legends video that had audio files?
Oh, it was a recruitment video. That was the thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
It was a, funny little meme.
Yeah, so by us saying that we want to be voice actors, it is basically, it's not something that we've actively pursued in any sort of real measure. I do.
Yeah.
All right, I'm seeing the group chat, like, they're still going on this conversation, and I can't jump into it, and it's like I feel like my opportunity is the window's closing, and I gotta get in there.
You'll live. You know these guys will be arguing at least until 8 p.m.
No, because yeah, one of them could, but the other one always dips out as soon as things get a little bit intense.
I guess we'll see.
I didn't answer the question that we started off with like 30 minutes ago. The question was, what do you want to be and what's stopping you from being that? Now, I actually talked a little bit about this last stream. I brought in a point to segue to my larger point, and then I just ended up not segueing because I forgot. I was talking about the channel and why I delete videos, and I was talking about how that was sort of a reflection of my idea of how this channel is sort of a resume of sorts. It's sort of a demo reel of me being a writer, and how I want only good things to be on my demo reel. And the reason I brought that up is because I just started writing a screenplay, and I've since stopped writing it just because the past couple of weeks the past week has been like super busy. But yeah, I wanted to bring it up because it is my goal, my life goal, career goal. As much as I love YouTube, my career goal is to be a writer, specifically a screenwriter. And I've written in the past. I've written a couple, short films of sorts. Nothing of major length, but that's the end goal for me. And what's holding me back would largely be, my own busyness. But I'll recognize that that's mostly an excuse. If I really wanted to, I could probably really find an hour every day and do it, but I don't. So that is one thing where it's like I'm clearly, I don't know, I'm not trying hard enough in that regard. And then the other thing holding me back, I would say it's like I am in a weird spot as a quote unquote analyst, where it's like I am constantly learning at a very fast rate. Like if you asked me opinions about writing 5 months ago, they'd be vastly different than my opinions about writing now. And if you ask me now, they will be vastly different from where it is 3 months from now. And because of that, I'm a little afraid of, so last summer I wrote a couple short films for something we were working on, and I already that was a year ago, and I already look back on those films saying I would do them so different. And I think there's a level of fear in that, where it's sort of wasting your opportunities, I could always just revisit those old scripts, but when it's made, it's made. So I don't know. If those scripts ever made their way into a film, that's the film. And I don't know, you can't really rewrite it at that point. So I'm very scared about completing something, And I also just I have a general fear of completing things, but that's always been the case. All right, let's go back in the chat. The hell is this drama in your group chat? I went through the whole thing. It was about spoilers for My Hero Academia. Come on, are you not listening?
Yeah.
Should I read about Edward Snowden or study fictional settings for my book? For my book. What do you mean study fictional settings? The best thing for writing is actually writing. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that'll always be true. But writing, it can be a daunting task sometimes. Because there was an interesting thing said in a Matt Colville video. He does D&D videos if you guys are at all interested. Very, very good stuff. But he said, you develop taste way before you develop skill. Which means that you will know when you write something that's bad before you are able to write something that's good. And that really sucks. because you know, you just I don't know.
I want the good stuff.
Yeah, it's really frustrating to see it and be like, this isn't working, but I don't know why. And it just sort of takes perseverance to push past that. My sister's texting me. We might have to cancel the stream a little early. Not right now, but just
You gotta get in there.
No, at like 6:45. I'm supposed to meet my sister for dinner.
Okay.
As a writer, I can relate to Hoodie. I've had an idea for a few series of books for years. But the more I learned, the more I had to change so much down to the core. It's really rough. Yeah, so my first story, or not my first story, but my first ever like real story that I felt in any way like super proud of, was a story called World S. It was a superhero battle royale. It was a comic book. Well, it sort of bounced around, but ultimately it landed on comic book. I never wrote it, but it was an idea that I felt pretty proud of, and I fleshed it out. And I still hold on to the idea that it could work, but so much of what it was to begin with has changed as I realized that, like, because I came up with that when I was in, a freshman in high school or a sophomore in high school, and so much of that was, just me putting down notes on a piece of paper for what I thought would be cool, not really knowing what is good. And now I think I have a little bit of a better understanding. And at what point does it stop being what it was originally? Like, when I change all these notes and form into something coherent, and now I don't have the same main character, and I don't have the same setting, and it's not a battle royale anymore, and it's just, then I get rid of superpowers, and then what am I even looking at anymore? And that is scary.
That's definitely relatable.
Okay, so in the setting I originally started with, one cyber noir authoritarian isolationist setting. That's a fair amount of adjectives right there.
Yeah, very specific setting.
But now that I know more about geopolitics, I need to include other more fleshed out nations. Here's the deal about that. Here's my opinion on that.
Is he doing America?
Yeah, you're pretty much onto what I'm saying. Here's my take on that is, and this will be maybe not applicable depending on the type of story you want to write, but I think you might be getting a little lost in your setting, and I think you might be too worried about like the world when really all that matters is the very specific location of where you are. That's not, and this could be refuted by the fact of like you simply want to write a story about the world, but if you're not, then perhaps even if you are, I'd perhaps maybe suggest localizing it a little harder, for example, I don't need to know the structure of Russia to understand The Godfather, if that makes sense. I think it's very easy to get lost in your setting.
You don't want to get lost in the sauce.
You don't.
Without sauce, a man is lost, but a man can also be lost in the sauce.
That's true. It's true. When you start writing, you read things and note all the awful points made by other authors. My parents use me to see if I can see who the bad guy is in their spy books they read. It's an interesting exercise. Learning about art in media has made me more cynical. I don't know. I feel like I've become more optimistic. But I just realized how open this world really is, I think Game of Thrones is better than Lord of the Rings. Anecdotally, I could say that I've enjoyed Game of Thrones more, but I made a very big mistake when watching Lord of the Rings. When I watched it for the first time, I watched the like extended director's cut or whatever, which is 12 hours long. And I've since been informed that like, no, you really shouldn't only watch that like if you're really into that shit already, like, because all that extra detail means nothing if you don't care, and I didn't care, so it was like I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I feel bad about that because I do very much hold the opinion that the greats are great, and they you can not like something that's good, but that doesn't make it bad. Is an opinion that I hold. And because of that, I feel bad for the way I look at Lord of the Rings, because, you know, I'm not a freaking idiot. You know, I know people, this is like, you don't just happen to coincidentally survive for as long as Lord of the Rings does and shape the game as much as it has. So for me to just look at it as like, oh, this is bad, is incredibly disingenuous, I think. So I'm definitely due for a rewatch, but unfortunately my first perspective has already been colored by a mistake. Being an author gives you an opportunity to play God. It's certainly a way of looking at it. I would say that I want to follow a more Game of Thrones writing. My favorite part of writing is seeing the gears click as things affect the world, if that makes sense. Well, even Game of Thrones, you know, think about it like this. We didn't know about Dorne, you know, and I'm speaking from the perspective of the TV show because I haven't read the books, but we didn't know about Dorne until, what, season 3 or season 4 or something? So you don't need to know about, like, for all we know, that could have been written when we got to that point. Speaking, obviously, it would have been written before because of the books, but you get what I'm going for. You know, you don't need to have everything from the start. You could start writing and then come up with stuff as needed. Now, don't do that too much, because then it will start to show. But you don't need to be 100% to start.
Yeah, you can work with an idea of what you need.
Silly Willy says you're assigning good to influential with Lord of the Rings. Just because something has an influence doesn't mean it's good. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I mean, I think things could have an influence that is bad, but it has had a good influence, and thus I think it is good. I don't think there's a difference. One is so late that it's almost over. We're gonna be done in like 20 minutes.
1.
One's in the chat, please. I like the idea of a morally great narrative, no bad side but no good side.
Can you think of an example of that?
Well, for me, the first example would probably be something like Game of Thrones. But I think what you need to understand about that is that is a very easy trap to fall into. And what could end up happening is that you try so hard to not push a narrative, and that it sort of just stays gray, that you end up just not saying anything at all. And that is definitely something to avoid. That's not to say it doesn't work, but...
Silly Willy makes a good point.
Mathwiz is in the house. What's up, Mathwiz?
Even later than 1.
Yeah. Silly Willy says, moral grayness doesn't exist because morality is a human construct. Why do I feel like the conversation always ends up to this point?
It always comes back to the subjective morality.
And the thing is, the only reason I don't like these conversations is because I'm just ignorant, you know, like I can't participate, so I don't, like, when I read a statement like that, I already start thinking I have no idea what this guy means. And what you need to understand about me is that I'm actually very dumb, but I consider myself to have an expertise in, like, expertise quote, in certain regards, and then a general ability to communicate in the general regards. So, like, I can have a conversation just picking up on context clues and sort of inferring what people mean when they say certain things, and sort of, but I can't have like an in-depth conversation on the moral grayness of human constructed morality. Like I can't do that because I'm just not. It's just not something I've ever studied or know anything about. But you want my opinions on this cool new anime? Then hell yeah, dude.
See, that's what you don't get. Talking about anime, it's the most intellectual thing you can do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The difficult part and the gray aspect of that sort of perspective is that in a lot of ways writing is the same as these things. You know, like it explores, like a lot of writing explores these concepts. So how do I know writing without knowing these things? But you know, I don't know. Oh boy. This conversation in the chat is going to quickly devolve. I was helping a family member move. Cut me some slack. No, Mathwiz. How are you even talking right now? Weren't you banned from like 2 streams ago? I don't even remember why we did that.
Time him out. Time him out again. Is it only like the 5-minute option?
I don't know. When I did it with Silly Willy, it didn't give me a chance to write it in. So I think so.
That's some Nazi shit right there. You say a bad word in my chat, you're out for 5 minutes.
Yeah. That is what the Nazis did. They timed people out.
Yeah. They timed him out of life, man.
But just temporarily, for a couple 100 seconds. They came back.
Yeah.
One just
They
came out of the
back
theater watching Deadpool 2. How was it, dude? No spoilers in the chat, please. But I haven't seen it
I
yet.
like that movie.
Oh, you've seen it?
I have.
Cool, dude. Was it good? Was it
It
like
was pretty good.
Was it as good as Deadpool 1?
Many have made the argument that it's better.
Wow.
And I think I agree.
I rewatched Deadpool 1 a couple days ago, so that'd be surprising to me. Anyone see Incredibles 2?
I really
have
want to
not.
see Incredibles. I think I'm going to see it Tuesday, unless my mom's a liar.
I'm due for a rewatch of Incredibles 1. I'm in a current state of like, I acknowledge that everyone seems to think Incredibles 1 is good, but I have no opinion of it because it's just been so long. So I'm definitely need to rewatch it. But the thing is, I don't know. I don't really feel super driven to, like, I don't feel like I'm gonna go see Incredibles 2 in the theater, so I'll probably see it in a couple months from now.
Yeah, that's right. Hoodie's a fucking heathen. And you know what? It's not just the fact that he has no respect for religion. It's really that he doesn't, like, have any shame about it. Like, you're speaking sacrilege on our stream right now, talking about you're not gonna go see Incredibles 2. And honestly, I'm fucking tired of it.
I was like scrolling through the chat, like, what are you responding to right now? I didn't see anything. I was so confused.
I really committed to that one.
Oh boy. Alright guys, I'm gonna take a quick second to go through the Facebook chat again. Let me update you on what's the haps.
I've been not really reading it, but just sort of watching the messages go by.
Yeah. Should I pull up another deep conversation topic?
One we can settle in 20 minutes.
Oh, this is an interesting thing that this isn't a deep conversation topic, but this was just I watched this streamer named Rickful, very smart guy, and he was talking about how much how should I put this? He was talking about how do I phrase? God damn it, I'm trying to think. Okay. He was talking about what your time is worth. Like, what is the average person who watches his stream? What is a minute of their life worth? And naturally, people probably view it relatively high. But then he made a comparison. I'm going to write this down just so I could see the math play out. But he wrote the comparison that, like, if it was between giving him, $5 and to not have to watch ads for a month, or just watching a 30-second ad every once in a while, which would you rather do? And then obviously natural inclination is to say, I'll just watch the 30-second ad. It's not that big of a deal. But then he was doing some, he was like, well, when you watch a 30-second ad, I get like 0.02 cents, right? So they say that's 30 seconds, multiply that by 2, that's a minute of your life is 0.04 cents. Then multiply that by 60 is 0.04 times 60. And now we're valuing an hour of your time at 2.4 cents. I thought that was an interesting way of looking at that. I never really thought about. I don't know if you have anything to say about that, but it's just something that came to mind.
See, I loophole this by constantly multitasking. So once one thing's on an ad, I loop over to something else. And then when that's on an ad, I go back to the
I feel that.
And then when that's on an ad.
Yeah, I feel that. Thoughts on pro wrestling?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question. I have never gotten into it.
I actually recently watched some pro wrestling. It was Money in the Bank. Is that what the event was called? If anyone watches wrestling, let me know.
I've never I've seen little pieces. Like, I've seen certain matches like once or twice, just for the sake of trying to figure out what it is. Here's a question I have, and Mathis, you'll probably be able to answer this. Is there are stories being told in wrestling, we know that, but how, as someone who doesn't watch, I feel like I only ever know about the matches. Where are we learning about the stories? Are they just doing like exposition drops right before they fight, or like how do I know about a character's backstory?
The announcers tend to talk about that shit as the fight's going down. At least that's what I picked up on when I was watching that.
It seems sort of unnatural. I don't know. I don't want to disrespect the art form because I believe it is an art form, but it just seems like, I don't know, it seems like the delivery of the story would not be ideal, and it would be hard for me to attach myself to it too much.
I'll say it has its culpable moments.
Mrs. Incredible doesn't get thicker, but ages like a fine, lispy wine. Well, doesn't this movie just take place like 10 seconds after the first one? I would imagine she doesn't age very much.
What does lispy mean?
I don't know.
I'll Google it. Google did not help.
I mean, I know what a lispy voice would be, but I don't know what a lispy whine is. The big matches usually have weeks, if not months, of build-up where they'll cut promos against each other back and forth. It's not just the matches, though. The matches tell the story as well. So, like, what could I expect to see out of a promo? Am I seeing, like, a scene out of a movie being acted out? Or am I seeing, like, I don't know, just people talking about stuff? She can, okay.
Silly Willy answers the question. She can control her body to look however she wants, so she can get thicker whenever she wants.
Yes, but an asterisk
It's
on that.
incredible. It is a thickness.
But you had to put an asterisk there because while that is true, let's not undermine the natural thickness because like there's no way she's always maintaining that, right? Like that's not possible.
true.
So like yeah, she could up the ante, but let's cut her some credit, you know?
She don't need to, if you know what I'm talking about.
However, all the voice actors are so older. But is that even noticeable? Because like they're all adults. I know they changed Dash. He has a different voice actor because I imagine he like really aged up. But like all the other ones were already adults when they did the first movie. So how much of their voice is even changing? These conversation topics are a little too deep. I have to go to let's do would you rather questions. That's good. This is a solid
Would
website.
you rather?
All right.
Options.
Would you rather the general public think you are a horrible person, but your family be very proud of you, or your family think you are a horrible person, but the general public be very proud of you?
I guess I'd rather well, it depends. Because if they think I'm a horrible person because like I did some shady shit to get to the top, then that could like lead to an expose, in which case both sides will hate me. So that's no good. But if it was just like, you know, they disagree with what I'm doing, but the rest of the world genuinely likes it, then I'd go with that.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go with the public liking me too, especially because I feel like there's
It's just more people.
I don't know how to do it, but I would need to figure out a way to monetize that.
Well, yeah. Of course, we're gonna get the money out of this.
Yeah.
And what am I gonna do? Ask my family for money?
Absolutely not.
Come on. Get real.
This is an interesting question. Would you rather be alone for the rest of your life or always be surrounded by annoying people?
Oh boy.
I don't know, because if you're alone for the rest of your life, you're gonna go crazy. But if you're surrounded by annoying people, I'll murder them.
Yeah. At least if you're going insane by yourself, you won't catch a case.
You know, okay. I think I'll do surrounded by annoying people because, you know, like I went to school. I know how to like I've dealt with that. You know.
Yeah, I've been to high school. It's like that. I don't know.
Brian Lowe says it's all about the legacy. That is 100% true. That is everything I do is about the legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting it's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. It's a Hamilton quote for all you boys out there. That whole thing's about legacy. It's really great. Thorough Pendragon says he would rather his family be proud of him, and that is why you will fail.
Yeah, that's why history won't remember you, man.
Did you answer?
Did I answer the alone or annoying people one?
Yeah.
I think I would. Well, yeah. Actually, I have the same question. Are they like annoying, annoying but still likable, or are they annoying but like I completely hate them?
I don't think you hate them, but you definitely don't like them.
Boy.
I think your answer is 100% you'd rather be with annoying people because like, I know you deal with this all the time and you totally handle it fine. You have the old shrug, you know, it is what it is, man. You always do that. So you can 100% handle this.
That's true.
This is an interesting question.
But being alone is fun.
Interesting question here. Would you rather find your true love or a suitcase with $5 million inside? No. That seems like a fairly easy question. But I'm actually going to throw a switch in. I'll go with true love. Because... Now, who am I kidding? I
can't even make a fucking argument for that shit.
Yeah, I was going to play devil's advocate. but you know, I'm just gonna take the money, dude.
How much is it? 5,000. The money.
This is 5 million, but I do it for $5.
Yeah. I like that Silly Willy is participating in these questions.
Everyone is. Well,
Actually, it looks like a few people are.
yeah. Romantic love is a trap to expand the capitalist system. What are you? I can't
As
even.
often. I feel like I'm almost on Cherry's wavelength, but he's a little too socialist.
The thing is, like, I don't even know when they're memeing. Like, is that a real statement you're saying? Am I dumb?
Well, you know, Valentine's Day, wedding rings.
Yeah, that's like, I get that.
Chocolate.
I totally get like the baseline, but like that is a really strong statement.
They have love in Russia too, you know. Not a meme.
All right, next question. Oh, this is interesting. Would you rather be able to control fire or water? Water probably is the most like beneficial, but man, fire. You could like controlling water at a base level has like a lot of utility, but not much combat purposes. And if I like now my day-to-day life doesn't need combat, but if I had fire it would. Like I'd make it need combat.
Goddamn right I will. I was watching Flash, and there was this like guy who was in a bank robbery, and the guy robbing the bank was like a fire-powered meta, and he was stopped by a guy who could trade powers with people. So it was like this random guy got the fire meta's powers, and the first thing he did was just like walk into like the city square and just start shooting fireballs at people like, give me money. And that's what I would do.
Okay, Silly Willy says this is an important question. Water easy if you shoot it at 900,000 psi, that's super deadly. That is true, but like if we're taking this at if we're taking at a base level, then that doesn't seem like a real possibility. Like, because I could easily say like fire, because you know if I could just control a volcano, I destroy everyone. But like maybe I can't.
Yeah, you could also have like you could say, oh, I could just make my finger like a blowtorch or something. You could you know, scale up or down the powers to fit your argument however you want. But I think if you look at them at the same power level, I think personally I'd say the utility from water I almost said waterbending wins out to the pure destructive force of the fire powers.
Here's my answer. I think at a very like if you are a base level weak user, I think fire is better. But if you are like a medium level waterbender, then you're pretty good. Like if you're as good as like Katara was at like at the end of season 1, then I think water already beats out fire. But like, and then as you go further, that continues to be the case. But like at its like raw base level, I think like what is the real utility of water when you could just move it around at a relatively slow speed?
Bathos says, "Oh God, are we power scaling now?" So how strong exactly is Katara at the end of season 1? Well, if you look at this scene,
I used to be so into that because I was for a very short but dense period of time in high school. That is all I would do in my computer class was just scroll through Comic Vine, reading about all the battles and like, you know, thinking about who I thought would win. That class was super boring.
I spent years in like the fucking versus debate groups on Facebook. Met a lot of people there.
Hold on, what is teleportation? What are you talking about? Oh, fly or teleportation? Oh, teleportation easy. I even if I had the ability to fly, I would be too scared to do it.
Yeah, Hoodie's talked about this before.
Like
it makes sense.
Like I would only fly at about maybe 5 feet in the air, and I would only do it at running speed. That way, if I ever fall, it's perfectly fine.
I would also go with teleportation, just because no matter how, like, say it's My Hero Academia rules, and you can strengthen your power through usage. Like, no matter how strong you make your flying, you're never going to be as good as being able to, like, teleport across the world, you know? You're never going to be able to move that fast.
Even if it wasn't that, even if I think you were just teleporting, like... So the Dimension Door spell in D&D is 500 feet. Even if I could only do that at max, I would still probably want teleporting.
Nightcrawler is pretty good.
Let's get the next.
You probably can't even go 500 feet because I think he has to be in sight range.
No, he doesn't. Well, at least not in the movies. He doesn't have to be in sight because he. But you know, the danger of not being in sight is that you might pop up somewhere, like in the middle of a tree and die.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's like in the comics actually. For some reason, Nightcrawler has popped up the least of like any X-Men characters I've read in comics.
Oh, this is an interesting question. Would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue? So, like, would you rather have the most amazing speaking voice and everyone loves the way it sounds, or would you rather be able to, like, charm your way through any situation? Calliope says capitalism or socialism.
All right. We're gonna solve the debate right here.
Yeah, right here, right now. I got 3 minutes before I need to go. I say capitalism. That's just me.
You're gonna get Cherry to fucking crucify you.
At a base level, I just think capitalism is stronger than socialism. And yeah, when you start scaling up, sure, socialism totally increases in power, but I'm just saying,
think about it this way.
I take base level Obama versus base level Putin any day.
Capitalism and socialism both have island busters, so really,
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. To answer the question, I do think it would take the silver tongue, because you know I already have it a little bit. I'm already super charming, you know. So if I could just multiply that.
I feel it.
I do constantly. That was mostly a joke, but mostly, I do think about like if I had a better voice, because I don't hate my voice, but I do like. I wish I could just have all my videos be the same. Well, be better if it could be, but like if I could just have like Super Eye Patch Wolf narrate my videos.
That'd be nice. Well. I used to think I had like a pretty aesthetically pleasing voice. Now I think it's kind of just normal.
It's not bad. I mean, I think bass talking for you isn't. I don't know. I'm used to it, but I think you have a deep range. Like you can go a lot deeper, and when you do, I mean, deep voices are cool.
I would probably also go with the silver tongue, just because, like waterbending, it just has more utility. Having a deep voice having a good voice doesn't actually do that much for you.
All right, one last question. Needs to be something good. This is a rather tame one. No, not that one actually. Okay, would you rather be fluent in all languages and never be able to travel, or be able to travel anywhere for a year but never be able to learn a word of a different language?
I'm already planning to travel places, and I don't plan on learning any languages, so I'd have to go with the second one.
Wow, really? I thought the obvious choice was the first one, because it's like, I'll just stay home and know all the languages.
I mean, what are you really going to get from knowing every language if you're staying here in Massachusetts?
The internet.
Okay, that's fair.
Not to mention, like, we do live in America, so, you know, like, there are a lot of people who speak other languages.
But we also speak English, which is a fairly wide spoken language. I don't think it's the most. I think Mandarin
But
still
okay,
has.
but also think about like you could monetize speaking a lot of languages, and you could also monetize traveling in a sense where it's like I don't know. I could make some dope content out of that, make some cool YouTube vlogs, but like if I just spoke all the languages, I could be a translator.
That's true.
Cherry Boy puts out
I
a
think
good.
you've changed my mind.
Cherry Boy makes a good point. You could read manga in raw, so you know.
I was definitely thinking about JVs.
That oh my god, that is such a good point because like already are like so few of them translated, but even the ones that are like they're either really hard to find or like I have one site that works, but it's a site where it's like you can't have ad block on or it just won't function, and then if you don't have ad block on, then it takes like it has like a 5-second ad before every single video, and it's like and god, it's so frustrating. All right, guys, I gotta get ready for dinner, so I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Good game of
One, I'll
Would You
answer your
Rather.
question next week.
No, you could answer it now.
No, we'll put it on hold.
Okay, well, technically 2 weeks because we do these bi-weekly.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
guys. Oh, and just a heads up, I'm not gonna say what it is, but we do have some big announcements coming in just a couple days. So stay tuned for that. Some big channel changes and a bunch of that stuff. So stay tuned, and we will see you guys very soon.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone.